Hey everybody, back on the BMW this weekend. Figured I'd make some more content for all, 6, 7, maybe 8 of you that watch my channel. So anyway, we are going to install the new rear main seal. I got a new seal here, actually got a new whole housing. The metal gasket that was missing. Maybe the old one was paper at some point, but I'm going to clean this surface up. Maybe there was a gasket there. Regardless. I got, it came with new bolts. I ordered new pressure plate bolts since I rounded out a couple of the other ones, getting them out. This is the lightweight flywheel from JBR that the owner of the car supplied. It's significantly lighter than the original dual mass. It didn't have bolts, but I searched around and found, I think, some bolts that are the correct length and size. I think these ones are new, and I think they are actually flywheel bolts, but I only have 4 or 6 of them, and I found some other used ones that I think were flywheel bolts as well. They're just a little bit different style, but I'll Loctite those and get them torqued down. But anyway, I'll get this cleaned up and get some of this stuff installed, and then show you where we're at. Click, 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 click. Whoa, girl. Probably be easier if I looked up the torque specs on that, but who wants to do that? You know, when you're trying to plan ahead and you're like, oh, I'm going to need this and I'm going to need that, and like, get all your bolts and like little things. You're like, oh, I'll get all this stuff and I'll put it, I'll be able to put it all back together. I don't have a clutch alignment tool, So, yeah, there's that. So, let's see if I can come up with something, or I might have to run into work and see if I can find one there. So, yeah, working on cars. Everybody should do it. It's great. No, they shouldn't. You should find a better hobby. Went out to my machine shop and whittled this out of a piece of steel I had laying around. No, I didn't do that. I'm fortunate enough that I work at a BMW dealership, if you didn't know, and we have a pretty nice tool database. So I ran over there, looked up the part number, and pulled it out of the drawer and brought it home. So thanks BMW for loaning me this tool for the weekend. So it fits. It's a little different than the aftermarket ones, but fits perfect in the splines and fits into the pilot bearing. So now we can install this thing. Transmission is bolted to the engine.
I don't have these lower bolts in yet because I don't have my oil pan gasket in there yet, but I think I will pull that off. I need to put the gasket on the front sump, clean up the oil pan, reinstall the gasket, reinstall all the bolts, install these 3 bolts, and then I think that'll be good to go. Also, I think I'm going to fill the trans with fluid because I don't know how much access I'm going to have to the fill port once it's in the car. So I think this transmission uses ATF, and I think I have a couple quarts of that. So I am going to go ahead and do that. So, but the starter's also installed. That should be good to go. So let's see if I can get this together. Another Derek moment. I think you're supposed to install the oil pan before you install the trans, I guess. This one bolt, and then the one that I lost is inside the transmission housing somewhere. These go up through here into the oil pan, but I couldn't get it up in there, and then it fell, and now it's in Never Never Land. So I guess I'll pull the transmission back off and fish the bolt out, and then install these 2 bolts and put the trans back in, I guess. I mean, I'm sure you can do it, but when you're Derek, the things are difficult. So anyway, we'll take this back apart. Trans is back out. If you can see in there, my bolt is taking a nap inside of the flywheel. So we'll fish that out. Try to get those 2 bolts installed. Sorry, it's all out of focus. There you go. Get those 2 bolts reinstalled and get the transmission back together. Yay! As you guys are watching this, some of you are probably saying, hey Derek, why didn't you remove the access cover to that flywheel, and you probably could have got that bolt out of there? Yeah, well, sometimes you're not thinking. I don't know if I'd have been able to install the bolts into the oil pan even if I retrieved the bolt out of there anyway. So anyway, we're getting these bolts installed. There's a bunch of bolts up in there as well that have to be installed. I'm slightly confused. I've got this one bolt. It's the same length and size as the 2 that went up into the oil pan at the back. So I don't know where that bolt goes. So I guess we'll keep moving and see if it magically finds its home. So anyway, I did a little bit more reassembly off camera. I got both oil pans installed, all the bolts installed, tightened up. Got the dipstick installed, reinstalled the alternator. There's a new pulley here, and I guess that's about it. So we're pretty close to maybe trying to fit this thing back in the car. So. All right, well that didn't go too bad. Hopefully you can see a little bit in the time lapse. I don't have it exactly in there yet, but this motor mount is lined up. This one over here, you're not gonna be able to see, but it is almost right on. I just need to get under the car, run the 2 bolts in. I'm holding the back of the transmission up with the floor jack. So that'll be fine for now. I'll get the other bolt in. The other 2 bolts on the passenger side, and then I'll probably crawl under the car and see how our transmission looks as far as comparing it to the other transmission, and cross my fingers that it fits better. So but I'm happy that I was able to get it down in there by myself with the oil pan that obviously complicated things a little bit because that front sump like hangs out. You could probably see it was real close right here, but yeah, I'm happy with that. It was just a couple minutes of getting it in, so I will keep moving on. I'm underneath the car. I'm sure you won't be able to see anything, but anyway, I'll show you anyway. Remember last week when I said, oh, I should look up the instructions and figure out where I need to cut this transmission for the drag link? And I said, oh, no, that's dumb. Why would I read the instructions? I'm just going to cut it out right here. Well, it needed to be cut right here. So this comes down, but so now I get to do it underneath the car, so that'll be fun. Anyway, let's see if I can get you under here. I'm sure you're upside down now. Let's see if I can turn this thing around. All right. So here is the slave cylinder. I have room now. The only struggle is going to be bleeding it. The bleeder is on the top side. I know you can't see it. I'm sorry. But I do have room on the side of the trans now. And over here, it gets a little snug back there where that bracket is, but the transmission could actually go towards the driver's side a little bit. So, sorry, I should hold this way. So I think it's going to be fine. I don't think I'm going to have to get my BFH out, so that's ideal. So I don't know if I'm going to do it today, but I need to cut this transmission to see if I can get this drag link fitted. Working on the trans mount today. This is what I came up with. This, I think, is maybe the E30 original trans cross member. The mounts were on the other trans, so I pulled them off, and this fit up perfectly, so I decided to start with it. And then these are the brackets that I made for the sides. There are 2 holes in the tunnel that are already threaded. I guess there's some sort of rib nut or something. One had a bolt in it, one didn't. So instead of cutting more holes in the car, especially in the floor, since most of these come out and then go up into the floor, I decided I was just going to use those 2 holes that are already there. They're not being used for anything, so why not use those? So I know it looks kind of goofy. This is just some scrap metal that I had laying around, so that's what I used. And I'll show you it in the car. I'm going to clean it up a little bit more, spray bomb it, and then I'll bolt it up in so that you can see what's going on. So it's not super pretty, but it will do the job. Sometimes it's the little things. I got myself some fresh PPE. New lens for my, whatever you call that thing, safety helmet, like clear protective helmet, whatever you want to call it. Couldn't see anything out of this. Imagine. I'll look through that thing. Ugh. Anyway, how exciting. Under the car, here's where we're at with this mount. You can see there's 2 bolts on each side that hold it to the tunnel, and then the mounts that hold the trans up. It is a little bit snug up here, just barely touching the tunnel. So I may massage the tunnel just a little bit right there. I'm not sure how much that's going to matter. I just don't want it to vibrate and make noise under load. So I don't know how much the trans is going to move, but I don't know. I may wait and see if it causes a problem and then deal with it then. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm happy enough with that. It seems like it'll do the job fine. So anyway, I think that's probably going to do it for this episode. The weekend's about up, and I'm gonna edit this and do some more things. So if you have any comments, suggestions, I'll take whatever you got, and I appreciate you watching. If you would like the video and subscribe to my channel, and keep posting some content. Thanks.